Welcome to the SFL Monday Night Spectacular. Tonight it's 3-4 Charleston, 4-3 Arizona. In a big game, we kick it off with Ron Haynes and Haynes Vision, and our surprise guest analyst of the night with me, Mike Daggs. What up, Mike? And excited to see this Charleston Predators squad up close and personal. Amon Kopech, 62% completion, not too shabby.
Ticks away as they wait for the play
SFL,
clock to go down to 2 before
Montana,
they hike it. Yayo Montana, who breaks a tackle and fights for more.
Great to be here with you,
Fights
Cam.
through a
Excited to
tackle.
finally get to call a game with you together. You know, we've only had an opportunity for like the past 6 years or so, but you know, hey, we finally made it work. Yeah, these the running backs, all three running backs for Charleston had a great game against Lexington, averaging over 4 yards per carry each almost.
Then if we look in the backfield here at Patrick Rudlang, he's been getting more of the work over the last couple of weeks. Rudlang is up to 4 touchdowns on just 29 carries. Mike, that's a touchdown, nearly 6 carries. You can't beat that.
No, you really can't. Had almost 100 yards last week, 84 to be exact, 2 touchdowns. I mean, a fantastic game for him. Excited to see him get going in this one.
Doug Spelling is a top weapon on this squad, but I got to give it to Charleston. They do mix the ball around pretty well. Spelling has taken over that number 1 target, though. 27 receptions, 455 total yards, on his way to potentially a 1,000-yard season.
Yeah, he's the leading receiver on the team and a huge target. 6'6" frame, 9 seasons in the league, 2-time All-Star. He is their number 1 guy.
On defense, it's Anthony Ellison up front already with 1.5 sacks and 4 tackles for loss. Kind of a new name and a new face on this defensive squad that is 12th in the league in sacks with 9 coming in.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. Very disruptive on the defensive line. A huge pickup for Charleston when they added him a little bit ago.
Leo Thomas with that sack there against Lexington. 9 tackles for loss, 35 tackles in the first 7 games. Thomas is a game wrecker, but so is his compadre on the other side at linebacker, Ben Bowman.
Yeah, Bowman, 3 seasons with the team, and Thomas, 5 seasons with the team. The 2 additions to the defense that they, when they were added on a few seasons back, have just really helped strengthen the core of this defensive unit, and it's helped shape the team into what it is now.
How about Arizona? Ashley Jackson, 56% completion percentage, but where she has shined is in the touchdown category. She's got 10 so far this season on about 201 yards a game. Sometimes she's a miss, but most of the time she's a hit.
3rd most in the league with 10 touchdowns, so certainly nothing that you can complain about there.
It will be Jones in the backfield here for this touch. Hand off to the outside. Brett Jones. Touchdown, Arizona on the opening.
1 passing touchdown, hit 2 picks, one of them right at the end of the game. It killed their final drive.
Brad Jones
they're on the board.
in yards per carry.
The blocking was excellent.
5,
Brad
that's
Jones
big for Arizona since he has the 2nd most carries in
Second half.
the SFL with 116. Fox Highway is a critical weapon in the
Jackson is going to have a crack at
He's
them
got
here.
3 of
Throws
those
outside.
touchdowns.
Caught one-handed by Fox Highway.
He sure does. He wasn't able to find the end zone last
And
week and only
that
was
clock
able to get 4 receptions for 45 yards. But if you look at his receiving totals throughout the season, those 3 touchdowns, he's sure to make a big impact in this one tonight against Charleston.
TJ Punk, they've struggled to get him the ball a little bit, just 22 receptions on the season, which is very unusual, but that, one of the best throws by any team this season, one of the best catches in the back of the end zone, Punk's 4th touchdown of the year.
Leave it to a former tight end to make a toe drag swag type catch like that, Cam. You know I love it.
Making you proud. On the defense, we focus in the secondary as Bernard Smith has a whopping 6 tackles for loss at safety, which is a big deal, along with an interception this season as well.
This whole secondary is just absolutely stout. Gerald and I talked about it in the Matt Wilson show at the beginning of the week. Everybody on this secondary, all of them have an interception, and 4 of them have 2 interceptions each, including Rain Riei, who got 1 right there.
49 tackles for Rain Riei, leads the defense in tackles this season, or actually 1 off of Sean Moore. But Rain Riei, 3 tackles for loss, 2 picks.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. And the linebackers as well, Sean Moore, Adam Wiseman, Wolf Highwind, all of them making a big impact.
Wiseman almost with a pick there, looking for his first of the season, but 17 tackles for loss. undeniably phenomenal. That is our look from Haynes Vision at Charleston and Arizona tonight. A huge game in the desert. 4-3 Scorpions, 3-4 Predators. It's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Welcome to Fatality Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Alongside Mike Daggs, I'm Cameron Irvine. Rochelle Colston and Ron Haynes are in our stats truck. A huge game tonight in Phoenix where the 4-3 Scorpions take on the 3-4 Predators. Charleston has an opportunity to get to first place in the East with a win tonight as Arizona looks to keep pace with Vancouver. Welcome into the broadcast booth here on a Monday night. Mike, I have hair, you have hair. It's a requirement here on Monday. Welcome to the analyst role, my friend.
Yeah, I love it. I've always wanted to dabble in the analyst role, and what better chance to do it than the Monday Night Spectacular alongside you. This is going to be a big game. 3-4 Charleston. They currently have a losing record, but if they can get to 500 tonight, they have that shot to take over the lead in the East. Like you mentioned, Cam, they were able to put a 4-game skid to an end after defeating Lexington last week in a shutout. Puts them right behind Florida right now, and with Florida losing to Houston earlier this week, it gives them the shot to take that advantage over them.
It was a very impressive bounce back for Charleston after their first 2 wins of the season came in overtime. They not only won their first game in regulation, but they clobbered Lexington. The ball's on the tee, the hands in the air, kick it. We are underway here on a beautiful Monday from Phoenix as the return will be taken out by TJ Punk out to the 20 to the 25-yard line and up to the 27. And that's where we'll see Ashley Jackson with her 10 touchdowns this season. As we talked about in pregame, that's third most in the league, along with her 115 completions, also third most in the SFL.
Absolutely. I'm interested to see what Arizona is going to do here at home tonight. They, much like Charleston, are currently at number 2 in their division. A win tonight would not give them the lead, unlike Charleston, but they really need to get this win to even try to keep pace with 6-1 Vancouver up top.
First down for Arizona in the orange and black tonight. Charleston's got their gradient white to reds. That was high wind in motion, and Jackson drops to throw on the first play of the game. Firing down the field into double coverage. That pass is incomplete. Broken up by Grant Hardaway, second down.
Yeah, throwing it into double coverage. She had 2 interceptions last week, which brings her up to 14 on the season. I know she wants, and especially Eddie Gage wants to flip that touchdown to interception ratio around. And 10 touchdowns, third best in the league. That's great. Got to control those picks. That one was a dangerous pass.
Second down for Arizona. It's going to be another throw. Jackson dropping to pass on a little drag route outside. That is caught by Tita Queen. First down for Arizona.
Tita Queen, 31 receptions so far this season. That's actually tied with Fox Highwood, who we talked about in the opener, Cam. And Arizona threw the ball a ton against Albuquerque. Granted, especially during that final couple of minutes trying to get back up into position to score. They couldn't really get the run game going a whole lot. I'm interested to see if they get Brad Jones going early in this one.
Now the throw for Jackson, and that pass is overthrown, looking for a high wind incomplete. Second down and 10. The Arizona offense includes Brad Jones, DJ Moses II, and Will Todd in the backfield. Buchanan Simons, Fox Highwind, T. DeQueen, TJ Punk at wide receiver. Lili Nakai is the starting tight end. On the offensive front, Patrick Kelly, Sean Crooked, Brunter Grayjam, Kiara Storm, and Danny Carmichael. Second and 10. We've seen 3 straight passes from Jackson. 4 straight passes from Jackson as she fires complete to Punk to the Charleston 41-yard line for another Arizona first down.
Hashtag throw it to the former tight end, like I always say, or some variation of that anyway.
It's always the same, Mike. You say it exactly the same every time.
Well, I don't usually say former, but in this case,
tattooed on? Is that a part of your sleeve? Please, I mean, it has to be at this point, right?
Not yet, but I do still have more leg space to go, so we'll get it done. Right next to a nice SFL shield.
There we go. I like that. I'm changing the branding up. Don't be too First and 10 at the Charleston 41-yard line. Play action to DJ Moses, and Jackson throws a pick. Grant Hardaway's been on lockdown on Fox Highwind early on and takes it all the way back to the 31-yard line. First turnover of the day belongs to the Predators.
First interception on the season for Hardaway, and it comes at a great time, shutting down Arizona's opening drive. Coming into the game, I really was interested to see, like I said, are they going to get that run game going? And was that 5 straight throws and then ending in an interception? So now Iman Kopech out on the field with his offense.
Kopech this season is third in the SFL in completion percentage at 62%. He's been very efficient. Kopech dropping a throw, dumps it off to Xavier Solomon, who picks up 7. The Charleston offense includes Yayo Montana, Nick Hoagland, Patrick Rudlang, and Brad Taylor Wright in the backfield. At wide receiver, Doug Spelling, Nick Twice, and Michael Knight. The tight ends, Leon Sandcastle and Xavier Solomon. On the offensive line, it's Mahalinger Hopper, Perrin Ibarra, Leroy James, and Finley James. Handoff. This a stiff arm from Montana, and Montana's got a first down, playing his former team / current team. First down for the Predators.
Yes, he is. Montana, top 10 in rushing yards this season in his first season as a halfback. One more carry, and he'll have 100 on the season already. And he's been a big part of the offense, along with both of the other running backs. They, like I mentioned in the opening video that Ron threw together, they all had great games last week. Kopech really didn't need to do a whole heck of a lot.
Note to the SFL schedule makers, if you have a storyline involving human emotion, do it before week 10. First and 10 at the 47-yard line for the Predators. They're moving the football now 16 yards on their opening drive, but this time cut down in the backfield. That was Nick Hoagland on the carry, but quickly to make the stop was Adam Wiseman.
Yep, and we talked about that one too, Cam. 17 TFLs. That's number 1, actually tied for number 1 in the league. Now he stands alone with 18 TFLs on the season. Incredible for an outside linebacker.
Kopech down the middle, finds Montana, who lost the ball, and it's picked up by Charleston. What a play by Hopper to get back on the football in a wild sequence.
Charleston dodged a bullet. I can't believe Spelling didn't pick that up. I thought he was going to pick it up and just take off with it, but that was close. I was all set and ready to credit Montana with still being able to get involved in the passing game like he did as a receiver, and then he fumbled it away.
Ernest McCray also had a chance at it for Arizona and could not find the football. Nick Hoagland with his second carry of the ball game. The Arizona defense includes Dede Sachs, Alex Constantine, Hunter Norwood, and David Tilley. The linebackers Sean Moore, Adam Wiseman, and Wolf Highwind. In the secondary, Xavier Rowe III, Terrell Davis, Ernest McCray Sr., Everett Garrison, Rain Rie, and Bernard Smith. 6:26 to go in the opening quarter. Kopech back to pass. He dumps it off out of the backfield. Montana is quickly wrestled down by Wiseman, 3rd and 5.
Nice screen. I like the setup there. See if they can, use Montana's elusiveness to try to make something happen. But great job by that Arizona defense to read it and shut it right down.
Kopech is 3 for 3 for 21 yards on the opening drive. Now officially more successful than Arizona's. Kopech, deep drop, maybe looking for the screen, instead goes underneath. First down to Nick twice on a little alternate choice route there. Wiseman eventually makes the tackle, but not before the first down.
He doesn't get used a lot, Cam, but when he does, it's usually for big plays. He averages almost 20 yards per reception. It's only his 15th on the season.
First down for Charleston, 5.5 to go in the first. Handoff Montana. It's got a lot of room up the gut, picking up 6 yards. Charleston interested in establishing a run game so far tonight. 4 runs and 4 passes.
They sure are. Rudlang, Hoagland, Montana all did a lot last week. The offense ended up being 9 of 18 on third down, so only 50%, but they gathered 177 total rushing yards between them, and looks like they're going with that same strategy tonight.
2nd and 4, handoff will make it a little bit more manageable third down. That is Nick Hoagland on the carry halfway through the first quarter.
And they were able to do this quite a bit to Lexington, where they were able to get some nice chunk yards on 1st and 2nd down, gave them a 3rd manageable on several occasions.
Kopech, 3rd and 3, gets some blocking help, and that pass is incomplete. McCray Sr. knocks it out of the hands of Leon Sandcastle. The drive will stall out, and Charleston will trot out Cameron Duty, who probably feels very pressured to be kicking a field goal with you in the press box tonight.
Well, what do you mean? I mean, he's almost perfect on the season. Right now, he's 12 to 12. He's doing fine. He doesn't need to worry about me.
That kick is off to the left. Way to go, Dags. Perfect on the season, and you ruined him.
Well, listen, I had to test to see if the broadcaster's curse was real, and now I can definitively say yes. Yes, it is. It's a thing. Sorry, Cam.
Apology accepted. Oh, you were talking to Duty. Yes. Yeah. We'll see if he accepts that apology or not. That is in all seriousness, that's a tragic blow there for Charleston, because they were probably feeling pretty good about how that first drive all went together. They get no points off the turnover. Now Tita Queen goes in motion from right to left, and Jackson will throw again. Charleston bringing some heat. The dump off over the middle is to Lili Nakai, picking up 7.
Still no runs for Arizona. You can tell that the wily veteran Ashley Jackson not even fazed by the fact that she threw that pick, comes right back out firing and gets a nice chunk of yards on first down.
What's interesting about Arizona's offense is that Jackson has the 5th most passing attempts in the league, but Arizona also has the 3rd most rushing attempts in the league. So this is an offense that stays on the field quite a long time. That's Brad Jones on a toss, picking up an easy first down. Good seal the edge by Tita Queen.
Well, that was one of the things that kind of surprised me when I was getting ready for this game, and I was looking to see, more specifically what they did against Albuquerque last week, and I saw just how many pass attempts Jackson had in that game compared to the rushing attempts. They really went pass heavy, and so far in this one, pass heavy as well. We only have seen the 1 carry.
Jackson tosses that out to Punk, picking up 6 yards to midfield. 2nd down and 4 coming up. The Charleston Predators defense includes Baron Wint, Dan Dash, John Lally, and Anthony Ellison up front, along with Pat Redding. The linebackers, Tigger Clay, Khalil Thomas, and Ben Bowman. The secondary includes Jacob Clear, Brandon Ewing, Leo Morris, Grant Hardaway, Matt Ryan, Sam Blotner, and John Stamengo. Handoff Jones. First down, past the 40. Brad Jones all the way down to the Charleston 35-yard line. First down, Scorpions.
Which this just goes to show why maybe they want to focus on that run game. 2 carries, and his first one went for 9. The next one, what was that, about 15 yards? I'll leave that up to the statisticians to do the maths, but, just a couple of carries already in this one, and both of them were huge.
The team averages 4.2 yards a carry, which is 6th best in the SFL through 9 weeks. As Nakai will go in motion with 3 minutes to go in the opening frame. Scoreless here on the Monday Night Spectacular. Both teams have moved the ball pretty well. Jackson back to throw. Pass caught by DeQueen into the red zone down to the 14-yard line.
There we go. Nice way to mix in the run and the pass together. DeQueen had a couple of catches already in this one, and now back in scoring range. But getting down to this part of the field is where their last drive came to a halt. We'll see what happens.
2:36 to go in the opening quarter. Jackson has started 5 for 8 for 66 yards, hitting 3 different receivers. does have the pick that kept points off the board. Jackson throws, caught. Highwind midair, able to make the play just inside the 1st and goal line.
I mean, it worked. It was terrifying, but it worked right in double coverage. But, you know, in coverage against a linebacker, though. So I think Jackson saw what the matchup was and said, yeah, Highwind's going to win that one. It's not like, you know, we're talking about a bad linebacker here, but I would take that 10 times out of 10.
Handoff, Will Todd, and just shy of the end zone. I think Arizona probably wanted that one for Todd, looking for his first touchdown this season.
Yeah, you know, poor Will Todd. He's just he always needs to get involved here in Arizona. They couldn't do it as a tight end. They make him a fullback. He still can't get in.
Will they give it back to him here on 2nd down and goal? He'll block for Brad Jones, and Jones can't get in the end zone. Wrestled down at about the 1-yard line, 3rd and goal.
The Charleston defense flew right through. Like they almost ignored Will Todd on that one. I think if the ball had been handed off to Todd, that would have been a touchdown. They were targeting Jones in that one.
Sam Blotner on that stop. Is anybody getting incentive money tonight? 3rd down and goal at the 1-yard line. They're going to hand it back to DJ Moses, the long-time Arizona Scorpion veteran. And he's in for the touchdown. 13th season with this franchise, even all the way back to when they were in Oklahoma City.
DJ Moses, 2nd touchdown on the season. So, you know, typically it's Brad Jones that's getting those final pushes into the end zone, but Moses no stranger to it. 2nd touchdown, you know, on this season, but you know, he does have tons of them all time. 143 now on his illustrious career. So will somebody be getting incentive money? Well, not for a 3rd down stop inside the 2, but I don't know. Let's keep an eye on Moses. Maybe he'll be getting some more yards, more touchdowns.
There's 1 touchdown away now. Moses 7th all time coming into the game. He is now 5 behind the illustrious Ray Bentley, who will not be looking to surrender that anytime soon.
No, absolutely not. I want him to keep piling them on.
1st down at the 33 coming up.
Well, let's see how Charleston can respond, Cam. You know, they had a nice drive going and almost had points. I'm not sure why they don't. Had nothing to do with us.
.108 to go in the 1st quarter. The handoff goes to Montana. That'll pick up 4 yards, tackled by Rain Rie. I know that Xavier Rowe III and Rain Rie drives your analyst insane, but since I'm from Texas, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me either. I mean, I'll pronounce the name however somebody says their name is pronounced, but for some reason, Gerald, he just he can't let it go. He wants to pronounce things his own way.
2nd and 6, the handoff on a little draw, got a yard. Sean Moore with the tackle. When was the last time Gerald Smith ever let anything go?
Oh, never once, never once. I mean, heck, Pittsburgh had to make custom uniforms just to make him happy.
And even then, I heard him behind the scenes. He was like, "3rd down and 5. As Twice goes in motion, he's already got a big catch on 3rd down earlier tonight. Kopech dropping a throw. Again, he was looking for that screen outside, but Kopech going to take off and run and get the 1st down. So Arizona's been kind of on that all night on 3rd down, but 2 for 2 for Charleston improvising.
Yeah, every once in a while, Kopech's been known to do that sort of thing. He had a 10-yard carry last week as well, so it's great to have a quarterback that can do it with his arms and his legs.
That's the end of the 1st quarter. Charleston 0, Arizona 7. We'll be right back. You're watching the Monday Night Spectacular on the Virtual Football Network. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by Dags Droneworks, aerial photography and videography services for real estate events, marketing, and more. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com. All right, Dags, lower your weapon. I did it. Was this the most fun you had filming the drones and all the SFL cities that you've gone to? I love the cactus flights.
It is. This is actually the only place that I've used an FPV drone, first-person view drone, to get some SFL video, and it was fun straight up until I flew right into a shrub of some kind and got the drone stuck, but I got it back.
Start of the second quarter, Kopech drops that one off into the flat, hitting Montana for a pickup of 5 yards. You know, it was kind of doom and gloom a bit in Charleston there for a hot minute, Mike. They had a rough month, losing to Florida, Pittsburgh, D.C., and Oklahoma City, where they probably felt like maybe they hit a little bit of rock bottom, although the Renegades have been no slouch at any point this season. But they look very composed here on the road tonight, playing some good ball and hoping to get some points out of this drive, third down.
Yeah, absolutely, especially that Pittsburgh and D.C. game. They lost by 14 points and 18 points, respectively. It sucks getting blown out. Trust me, I now know. And but coming back last week against Lexington, shutting them out, builds your confidence up. They're looking good so far in this one.
3rd and 3, Montana going to fight for the first down and get it. Excellent run there from Yayo as he got bottled up a little bit at the early part of that play and made it happen.
Sure did. You know, like I said in the opening, they averaged about 3 or 4 yards per carry per back last week, and sometimes it's all you need. You can keep getting 3-4 yard chunks every time. You're going to do good. Here's another one.
And the handoff to Hoagland gets 4 yards. Charleston stays ahead of the sticks. The East has been ugly, Mike, as Charleston and Florida are right now fighting for first place in that division. If Charleston loses tonight, Florida will be in first place with a losing record at 3-4. So it's a huge opportunity for the Predators, especially to get a monster win on the road in a very hostile environment, tough place to play here in Arizona. 53-23 all-time at Fatality Field. They'll dump it off. That's Montana. That's a stiff arm. 25 down to the 21-yard line, first down.
Yeah, absolutely. And he just stiff-armed it. That was Rain Ria. That's no slouch that he stiff-arms here. Watch this on the replays. Like, no, I got more yards to get. Sends him into the turf. Probably could have kept on going if he hadn't stepped out of bounds. But, yeah, the East, remember 2 seasons ago we were talking about how everybody in the East might make the playoffs?
Yeah, and then Gerald ruined it with his Nashville pick.
He sure did. Now it's like, all right, does anyone want to make the playoffs? We'll see what happens.
First down, Charleston's Kopech almost got sacked and got away. Kopech spun down and spun forward down to about the 13-yard line, pickup of 8.
Gets it done with his legs once again. He actually has the second best rushing average in the league, Cam, with 6 yards per carry. That was only his 11th carry on the season, though. But, hey, when he does it, he gets a nice chunk of yards, and darn near got a first down on that one.
2nd down and 2. The handoff goes to Montana in a more traditional sense, but only gets a yard. You know, Kopech is number 2 on that list in yards per carry, but much to the chagrin of Eddie Gage, actually number 1 is Ashley Jackson, 15 carries, 104 yards.
Yeah, and he does not want to let her run the ball, but I mean, Eddie, the stats don't lie. When she runs, she gets the most yards in the league.
3rd down and 1, and Montana just brutalized an Arizona Scorpion that shall not be named down to the 4-yard line.
I didn't even see who that was, but I won't even check. Wow. Well, we're going to get to see it anyway, though, Cam, but we'll just let him lay there on the turf and lick his wounds. But yeah, Montana's just a beast. We've seen trucks, we've seen stiff arms. He's got good speed, good hands. You know, Swiss Army knife back there.
It was a Smith getting put down, Gerald or otherwise. 1st and goal for Kopech, and he throws a pick, taken away by Rain Rie, who gets a little redemption after that stiff arm. And it'll bring up a first down for the Scorpions and no change to the board for Charleston.
Yep, once again, another drive for Charleston that looks real promising comes to a close without any points. This time I didn't jinx them, but Rain Rie, yeah, probably still a little upset about getting thrown down into the turf by Montana. 3rd interception now on the season, ties Sean Moore, the inside linebacker, for most picks from the Arizona defense.
Handoff to Brad Jones will only net 2. Charleston outgaining Arizona, but the critical turnover there at the end of that drive, the difference right now.
Yep, absolutely. Those turnovers just haunting both of these teams so far, although, Arizona able to score on their last possession, but points were coming at a premium even in that shutout win for Charleston last week.
Oh, man, that's picked right back. John
spot.
Stamengo takes it away. That's the second interception for Ashley Jackson, and things might start to get nutty around here.
Yeah, they definitely might. I mean, now Charleston's in a great position to try to get some points on the board. They've got to take care of that ball, though, and if it comes down to a kick between the sticks this time would help them put some points on the board. But this Charleston defense was stifling last week, obviously only allowing 0 points. They only allowed 25 rushing yards, only 11 first downs all game, held Lexington to 2 of 12 on third down. I mean, it's a good defensive unit, and now their offense has the ball at Arizona's 25.
Loss of a yard there as Sean Moore cleans it up. So, man, both these defenses balling out right now, and not much is going right for either team.
For sure. It's going to be a defensive battle, which, hey, if you love defensive football, great. If you're hoping to see a high-scoring game, I think you tuned into the wrong game tonight, because I think this one's going to be a low-scoring one.
Kopech hit from behind, and this time cannot get away. Sacked for a loss of 6 yards. That's Wiseman on the takedown. Wiseman's first sack of the season.
Yeah, his first sack, but the 14th for this defense. They're 7th best in the league. And, it wasn't all Wiseman. If you see everybody else that was in that backfield, too, the offensive line had way more defenders than they could handle. It allowed Wiseman to get a shot at Kopech, and now a third and very long. They might even be out of field goal range.
Yeah, and Duty's already missed one as Kopech drops to throw on third down and long and buys a little time and completes it down the field to Xavier Solomon, just his second catch. But that the biggest play of the first half, quite frankly, from Charleston's offense. They needed that.
Yeah, and Charleston loves Xavier Solomon. He's got 35 catches on the season now. He's the #1 receiving leader in terms of receptions on this team. Doug Spelling, obviously, in terms of yards. But here we go. 1st and goal from the 4, looking to get this thing tied up.
Hand off to Hoagland. That picked up a couple. 2nd and goal on the way with 4.5 to go in the first half.
Gets really tough down here inside the 5, Cam. It makes the field a lot shorter and cuts your play calling ability probably less than half.
Hand off Montana. Got a great block from Brad Taylor Wright. And Yayo's in the end zone for a touchdown.
3rd on the season, which actually kind of surprised me. I thought he would have had even more than that, the way he's been running the ball all season and in particular tonight, but punches that one in for 6 and extra point. I'm not going to say anything about it, Cameron Duty. You just head out there, you do whatever you want to do. Kick it in, kick it out. It don't matter to me one bit.
Man, I'm telling you, it's not often that you see Sean Moore on his back in an end zone. That was a terrific block from Brad Taylor Wright, and Charleston shakes off the end zone interception to tie the game at 7.
Yep, all knotted up. So, here we are, a little bit past midway through quarter number 2, and with any luck, the Charleston faithful will forget that a field goal attempt even happened in the first quarter.
On a return, this is Simons up to the 33-yard line. So Charleston outgaining Arizona in the early going. The Scorpions are averaging 6 yards a carry when Brad Jones gets the football. Will we see more of that?
I think so. I mean, he had, a 9-yard carry on his first attempt, then a 13-yard carry on the second attempt. It's been slow going on his last couple of touches, but this guy's got almost 9,000 on his career. He's going to pass it, heck, probably in the next couple of carries, honestly. And they really need to get him involved, especially with Ashley Jackson already throwing 2 picks. It's critical that they focus on the run and see if they can get that ground game going.
First down for Jackson and the Scorpions. AJ dropping a throw, and T to Queen just got massacred out there. 2nd down.
And John Stamengo was right there in the way. I mean, only was able to get one hand up, but if he had had one more step ahead, he had a great shot at taking that one straight back to the house. Just got to be careful.
First down at the 33-yard line for Arizona. Jackson, heavy pressure, and man, Charleston sent about 8 on that play.
Sure did.
And, Jackson able to deliver it quickly to Nakai for 6.
Yeah, I thought the whole defense was coming for a second, but fortunately Charleston left a couple people back to make that tackle. Great job by Jackson to get the ball out and pick up 6 on it.
Jackson to throw. Almost squeezed it in there, but a terrific pass deflection from Tigga Clay in his first season with the Predators, 7th as a whole, and it'll bring up 4th down. Charleston's defense, wow, I mean, special tonight so far.
Special tonight and special last week as well, Cam. They, in the first half last week, they didn't even let Lexington cross midfield until 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. And after that, they only got across it one more time in the first half. Second half, Lexington didn't cross midfield at all until the final 4 minutes of play when they were going no huddle. So, I mean, this team, the defense in particular, has just been absolutely stifling last week, and they're doing a great job in this one, picking off Ashley Jackson twice, holding them to a 3-and-out right there. And look at this. I mean, 3.5 minutes to go, all 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. They can run standard offense and try to get the 78 yards they need, get another touchdown, and take the lead.
We'll see what their offense can do following their touchdown drive. 3:29 to go. That was the first punt in this game. Oddly enough, so 3:29 to go in the first half. Toss play out to Montana. Breaks off a tackle, but Wiseman cuts him down after a pickup of 4. You know, I know you're not a defensive guru by any means, Mike Daggs, but as a coach, you know, sometimes you just kind of get that moment where you figure it out and things are a little easier after that, right?
Oh, absolutely. It certainly helps when you find a formula that works, and, you know, Charleston's getting it done. So whatever adjustments they made after that 4-game skid certainly seems to be paying off. And this secondary, Cam, Bernard Smith almost got his second pick on the season. It's a dangerous secondary for Kopech to be throwing against. I really think that they should also focus on the run game like they did last week.
Yeah, they don't want to be overlooked either. And Arizona's defense has now forced Charleston into 7 third-down attempts in the first half. Arizona's only had 2. Back to pass is Kopech firing down the field. That one is off the hands of Doug Spelling. A rare drop for Spelling, who's been a little quiet in the first half, and Arizona's defense stands tall.
He's been very quiet here in the first half. And when I saw him pass the defender, I thought, yep, there we go. And was going to point out that similar plays that he was making last week, you know, for the most part, Charleston was able to get, you know, a 1st and 10 into a 2nd and 6, and then into a 3rd and 2, and then they easily converted that. But there were a couple of times that they had a 3rd and 12, for example, threw it up to Spelling, he picks up 15 and moves the sticks. That's one that he makes 9 times out of 10. Just unlucky for Charleston. That was the 1 out of 10 times he just lets it bounce off his hands.
So far tonight, Jackson is 7 of 13, 83 yards. Leading receivers T to Queen with 37 yards, and Jones has 24 yards on 4 carries along of 13. Jackson back to pass again against heavy pressure. T to Queen one-on-one, and no one's going to catch her. Touchdown, Arizona.
Nice quick way to score. It's, you know, I love to do that, especially after if you can get a turnover. Obviously, that one was not a punt, but you know they got the ball back, and I think they just had enough of this going back and forth, trying to just get small chunks of yards. They said, "I'm going to try to take advantage of this one." Brandon Ewing in on the coverage, just got beat. Great ball placement by Ashley Jackson. T to Queen getting into the end zone. The ladies getting it done for Arizona.
What a monster play to kind of allow Arizona to take a breath after Charleston was really playing some good ball. And after that one play, 54-yard, 8 seconds and 54 yards. It's not a 4.2 40 by any means, but it's still pretty solid from T to Queen. She's been running all night.
Yeah, I mean, it more than doubles her long reception that she had on the season previous to this one that was only 22 yards, and it eclipses Fox Highwind's 42-yard long that he had earlier on in the season as well. So Biggest pass play for the Scorpions, and it came at a great time for them, getting their lead back. 14-7 now here, 2:38 to go in the second quarter, and it was important because Charleston's actually going to get the ball to start the second half, so important for them to get that score now.
Hand off to Montana, and Montana breaks loose.
Here we go.
Past the 40 midfield, down the sideline, and ushered out of bounds at the 44-yard line of Arizona. One big play deserves another.
Sure does, and that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. I mentioned how I figured it was going to be a pretty big defensive slugfest, low-scoring game, not a lot of offensive explosion to be seen. I love big offenses, Cam, big plays. That's what it's all about. And, hey, 2 back-to-back plays, that puts Charleston in great position now. It's good to see for them.
And at this point in the game, 166 to 137, the average yards per play for Charleston now up to 4.2. Arizona's been, check that, 5.2. Both teams have been pretty explosive. As you look at Montana's updated numbers, nearly 8 yards a play for the Scorpions. And they'll go back to the ground as Nick Hoagland trucks over an Arizona Scorpion. Is that Dion Grant wearing the old Eddie Gage number? What's up with, I thought that number was retired.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, look at that. That's interesting. I guess they dusted it off just for Mr. Grant. He must have a special place in Eddie's heart.
Somebody's got some blackmail. 2-minute warning. Arizona's up on Charleston, 14-7. What do you think Dion Grant's got on Eddie Gage?
I don't even want to know.
It's got to be the gate code, right?
Probably.
14-7 Arizona. Charleston's on the move. Good game here on the Monday Night Spectacular. Mike Daggs and Cameron Irvine with you. Rochelle Colston and Ron Haynes in the stats truck. Kopech is dropped after a gain of a yard. Charles Doherty, my regular analyst, not here tonight. Family health issues. We wish him and his family well, and thoughts and prayers with all of them. Miss you, Charles. Miss you, buddy. Hopefully see you back here next week.
Absolutely. Thoughts are with Charles and his family, and I told him I'd take good care of you this week. So,
2nd and 9, and just like that, failed promise from Mike Daggs. Xavier Solomon fails to make that catch. 3rd down.
Wow. Okay. Hey, that run from Kopech a couple of plays ago killed a streak. We had 3 plays in a row where players had set new season longs with Tita Queen's touchdown reception, and then Yale Montana set a long rush, and then Hoagland set a long rush for him. Kopech broke it.
4th down and 9 coming up. And the drive, unfortunately, going to stall out. I think they're going to trot out Cameron Duty for a 46-yarder in the hopes that he can figure out how to get the leg right tonight.
Well, they are. This would be his long on the season, Cam. This one's from the other hatch and going the other direction.
And he cannot curl it in. 0 for 2 in a first half, down 7 when Duty had not had a missed kick all season. Disappointing. This one ends up actually stoinking off the right upright.
It sure did, and I'm probably going to start receiving threats from Charleston at this point, blaming me for saying something about him being perfect on the season earlier on. But the wind blowing across the field, it blew the first one too far to the left. They kicked it to the other direction, and it went too far to the right. Same wind direction on both of them.
Striker strikes to the Charleston 49-yard line. That is Fox High, or check that Tita Queen with the catch. And now a timeout from Arizona, their first of the half.
Yeah, well, it looks like Arizona's not content to just go in with a 1-touchdown lead. They're going to come right back out and keep on swinging. Look at DeQueen with over 100 yards on the day already. Obviously aided in large part by that 54-yarder that she had the last time out.
Still super impressive. She has 344 yards on the season and 105 in this half to tack on to it. 3-by-1 for Jackson in the empty. That pass is incomplete. Nearly taken away by Brandon Ewing.
Yep, he almost had himself a pick six. There was nothing but green grass ahead of him if he had been able to get that one. And Jackson's been making all sorts of dangerous throws tonight. 2 of them have already cost her team a turnover. you don't want to do it here and let Charleston tie this one up simply because of a wild throw.
Jackson again with 2 timeouts left, and that one actually almost found Tita Queen sitting on the ground as more incomplete trash talk from Charleston will force a 3rd and 10.
Yep, well, she went and targeted that same linebacker, number 52, on Charleston, Roman Pfeiffer, who they targeted earlier on in this one when they saw Fox Highwind matched up against them. They were able to get a completion on that one.
Play fake, Jackson fires, that is complete for a 1st down. And you wonder, it looks like Pfeiffer is in that dime look as the inside linebacker. You know, one advantage for SFL general managers, Mike, is to try to manipulate the salary cap and sign players at different positions and all that, but it makes things more challenging on your substitution packages, and maybe Arizona saw that and trying to get a good look out of that dime package with a lot of passes here in the 1st half remains to be seen, but Jackson has thrown the ball now 19 times. That pass is complete to the 25-yard line, and now Arizona's out of timeouts.
Yeah, it's a great point, Cam. I mean, you know, they have to have a linebacker in that dime spot because, you know, maybe they're just a little bit better than a corner. Who knows? You know, the Aztecs had to deal with something similar last season. Ended up bringing in Miranda Dumas to fill in that, you know, cornerback 4 position so that we could actually have 4 corners out on the field. Look for Pfeiffer to maybe continue to be a liability in this one.
Jackson's pass to the sideline, caught by Highwind. And it doesn't get any better than that. You got no timeouts left, Mike. The only way to stop the clock after a positive play is to get out of bounds. They do just that.
Flawless execution on that one. Great route by Highwind. And just the way that he executed it. Totally had Brandon Ewing turned around thinking he was going towards the end zone. Quick made a stop, got the catch, stepped out of bounds, 55 seconds to go. They can take their time. They can get Brad Jones involved here.
Arizona, I suspect, will be passing the rest of this drive with no timeouts to go, so they're going to have to be careful. Charleston already has a red zone interception tonight. Highwind goes in motion from left to right, rolling out to the left is Jackson, throws it in the front, throws it right to Leo Morris, taking it all the way, and Tita Queen saves a touchdown at the Arizona 25-yard line. An impressive job by Tita Queen to chase him down, but Jackson just not seeing Leo come out of nowhere.
Well, Jackson's been not seeing a lot of this gradient red and white uniform tonight. 3rd interception thrown. That I thought for sure Morris was going to be gone. Kudos to DeQueen for saving up just enough energy to be able to get that touchdown-saving tackle. 1st interception on the season for Morris. Almost had his 4th career pick 6, but not able to on that one. But now Charleston already all the way down to Arizona's 25.
Morris now in his 10th SFL season. Where does the time go? He used to play for the Portland Fleet. 44 seconds to go in the 1st half, and that pass from Kopech is incomplete, intended for Michael Knight, his 1st target.
Look at Jacob Clear in the chat. Jinxed us again, Dags. So somehow it's my fault that his kicker missed twice and his corner ran out of gas.
It's not the AI's fault, so it's got to be yours. I'll take that over. I'll take that over the other one any day. I'll take it being my fault over the other. 2nd and 10 with 41 seconds to go. The Arizona 25-yard line. And Kopech will roll out to the left and fire to Knight for the 1st down. Charleston with all 3 timeouts in their pocket with a timeout. Boy, did this game flip on its head. It felt like this could be a 21-7 Arizona game with a lot of missed opportunities for the Preds. They are 14 yards away from tying this thing up before the half.
Not only that, but they get the ball back to start the 2nd half. So Charleston in prime position right now to double dip, unless I just jinxed it.
You've been on a roll tonight.
I have, not on purpose. I'm definitely not going to win the lottery tomorrow.
Kopech against a 4-man rush, fires into the end zone. That was a tight window, trying to fit that into Bernard Smith with the deflection.
That was a straight-up closed window, Cam. We're not going to get to see another look at it, but he was surrounded by 3 defensive backs from the Scorpions defense. who, have 13 combined picks between them. So that was dangerous.
Nick Twice gonna go in motion just once. 6'2", 210 in his 4th SFL season, 3rd with the Preds. Rolling out his Kopech to the right. Dumps it off at the flat, and all of a sudden identical play to Arizona's grave mistake. Looking for Spelling, who dropped it, ? But the defender was kind of in his sight line.
Yeah.
It was a tough catch.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, Ernest McCray Sr. almost had a house call to his name. Definitely interfered with being able to see that one into his hands.
3rd and 10, and that is caught, and a first down. That had no business being a first down, and somehow Charleston keeps the drive alive down to the 3.
Wow, Michael Knight, great job not only finding that ball, how about Kopech fitting it in there, but that one was all Michael Knight making the move necessary to get the final few yards to get it into the end, or get it into first down territory.
Already an end zone pick. How's your goal line pass offense? Not good enough on that play. Incomplete as they were looking for Brad Taylor right on the hook.
Almost got it. They have to be careful, just like Arizona needed to be careful. But with 20 seconds to go and only one timeout, they could run it. I don't think they will.
2nd and goal for Charleston. Both offenses with over 200 yards in the first half. Kopech to throw, dumps it short, pass caught, but it is well short of the end zone. Sandcastle was the intended target, and with 14 seconds left, I think Charleston will kick a field goal here with no timeouts left.
Probably, and this one, 0 for 2.
Get
Sorry,
Cam
Mr.
some
Goody.
confidence here.
Yeah, this one no farther than an extra point. It literally is the same distance as just from the left hash. And there's no way he can miss it.
8-play.
I had to wait.
8-play, 23-yard drive for Charleston, and all things considered, I mean, if you throw another pass and it ends up in the field of play, you're screwed and get nothing again. That would be the second time that Charleston did. You mentioned it earlier, Dags. They get the ball to start the second half. I think they're probably pretty satisfied with just getting points there.
I would be. I mean, they still have that opportunity to double dip if they can come out here in the second half and get themselves a touchdown. Then instead of just tying it up, they've got the lead. So, points are definitely at a premium in this one, and I'd take 3. Already 0 for 2 on field goals, so there's 6 points missed. They got to capitalize off every possession that they can, and 3 points, certainly nothing to shake a stick at.
The turnovers looming large in this half. Charleston has 1 turnover. Arizona with 3, though, in the first, and that has helped keep Charleston alive in this one. Brad Jones is hammered in the backfield, and that is how the first half will end. Charleston saw that one coming. Well, a dynamic and very compelling first half of play here at Fatality Field in Phoenix, Arizona. It's the Scorpions 14, the Predators 10. Mike, what'd you see out of the first half?
Well, not a lot of running on the Arizona side, which is something I was really hoping that they were going to feature tonight when they have somebody like Brad Jones who's playing at an all-star level. I mean, 2nd most carries in the league. He came into the night with the 3rd most rushing yards and the most rushing touchdowns. But he's only got 5 rushing attempts, and you just saw the 5th one. It was just a handoff to end the half. So realistically speaking, the first half, they only gave him the ball 4 times for about 20 yards. And one of them was a 13-yarder, and another one was a 9. So he's only had 2 good carries. They've got to get Brad Jones more involved if they want to have this one, in the bag and get that win. For Charleston, they've been doing a solid job. They just need to capitalize off those possessions when they get a chance to do so. Can't be missing field goals. Got to score on every opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're getting it done defensively. I mean, the defense was what was really letting them shut out Lexington and win that game last week. And I mean, players like Tigga Clay, he's got 400 tackles now on the season with his 2 in the first half. These guys they're flying around the field and getting it done. Now let's see if the offense can do their part and get some more points on the board and give them their first lead of the game. Oh, I meant on his career. Did I say? That is crazy Mathens. It looks like in the chat they're saying they can't hear the sultry sounds of your voice, Cam, but that's
good. It was a bunch of nothing garbage anyway there for the first minute.
It was. So, fortunately, everybody was just able to hear all the worldly insight that I had. So they really didn't miss a whole heck of a lot. But 3 and out for Charleston, so that chance to double dip goes away, and now Arizona, looking to potentially extend their lead.
That punt, just the second for Charleston on the night. Arizona only has 1, as we've seen other drives result in turnovers. 4 of them, to be exact, in that first half. Good return there from Highwind. And it'll be first down at the 37-yard line for Arizona. Well, I think just like the Predators weathered the storm earlier, Mike, Arizona kind of weathered the storm there. Charleston had a chance to get a 2-for-1. They only end up getting 3 points out of it, and Arizona still leads.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this defense is no slouches either. I mean, I talked about Brad Jones on the offense playing at an all-star level. How about 3 defenders playing at an all-star level on the defense? They're going to continue to get it done. And look at Fox Highwind go. Oh, he almost broke that one.
Charleston continues to be very aggressive on the defensive side of the football, and things are starting to open up now for the Arizona passing game. Fox with the catch. That is catch number 4 tonight for Fox.
Fox Highwind is a game changer. I mean, when Arizona this past offseason went and made their offseason signings, and I saw Fox Highwind and T. DeQueen both joining this passing attack, I knew we were in for a treat with some big plays. And so far, both Fox and T have both made some nice catches in this one.
8:10 to go in the third. Handoff to Jones. Picks up 1. Fox is an exemplary figure in the SFL community. He wasn't always everyone's best friend around here, and had to get his head on straight there, a couple years ago. But, man, we've met him at conventions, and him and his family are great people, and happy to have him and Wolf still around in the league as that pass is knocked away by Brandon Ewing. 3rd and 9 coming up.
Yeah, it's on Wolf. We drafted him to the Mexico City Aztecs, and it was great to have him there and to meet him and Fox at the convention out in Cincinnati, and hoping that we can see them both again at some future conventions as well.
13 of 23 for Ashley Jackson here tonight. 3rd down and 9 for the Scorpions. They go empty. They have plenty of time, and Jackson delivers to T. DeQueen. The Jackson to T connection alive and well here tonight.
Well, she got that one. I was nervous that was going to be the 4th interception on the night, though. I hope we get another look at it. Yeah, a great angle on it, too. Look at this. Wow, just Sam Blotner right there. Just couldn't get that step out in front of the ball, but Jackson she's not phased. She's thrown 3 interceptions, Cam, but she's just going to keep right on throwing.
Zipped it right over the head of Sam and right over the head of the defender there as well. Touchdown, Fox Highwind. It's 20-10. Arizona opens up a 2-possession lead.
Yeah, and that one just looked so clean, so smooth. What a drive to come out in the second half. Your defense gets a big stop. You get the ball back. You know, Charleston could have had an opportunity to take the lead, but instead Arizona gets the ball and they extend the lead. And Cam, this is the score, well, almost. This is the score that we thought we were going to see at the end of the first half, 21 to 7. But Charleston getting that interception and getting that field goal could have changed things. Arizona doesn't sweat it. They just go ahead, do their thing, march down the field, touchdown Scorpions, 21-10.
A 5-play, 63-yard drive. We have not had a single drive over 10-plus plays that has resulted in points tonight. When teams have been able to figure it out, they've figured it out pretty quick. And now Charleston has to do that on this end of the football. Nick twice on the return up to the 22-yard line. Next Monday on the Monday Night Spectacular, it is the Queen City Corsairs hosting the Florida Storm. And we'll hopefully have you bring you that with myself and Charles Doherty next week. But that should be a very interesting game. There's a couple of games next week with some teams in the middle of the pack, and both Florida and Queen City are 3-4. They've both shown promise. They both have 2 young quarterbacks in Isaac Covert and Silas Christensen. It'll be an interesting night from Buffalo.
It sure is. Looking forward to seeing what, honestly, both of those teams can do. I know, Florida in particular is a team that my guy Gerald has written off since before the season even began. And even though they lost to Houston this weekend, they looked really competitive in that one. They kept it close most of the game. They had the lead, I think, twice.
Handoff to Nick Hoagland, picking up a first down. About 6 yards on the carry. And that's a good start for Charleston on their opening drive. Haven't had a lot of 3-and-outs tonight as Charleston and Arizona rather, continue to move the football. That was our 24th first down of the evening, and Charleston leading that category 13-11 right now. 6:22 to go in the third quarter of play. They'll send a man in motion from right to left, left to right. Kopech dropping a throw. He'll dump it down on a check down, and man, that throw only works because you're looking at the back of Rain Rie, and you know he's not turning around.
Yep, yeah, targeting Xavier Solomon again. That is, that's Kopech's favorite target. So, trusting that he'll be able to catch that ball, and, there was some pressure around its way, too. Great job by the O-line to pick it up.
Solomon, 34 catches this season, 9th most in the SFL. Montana's got another first down to the 45-yard line as the Preds continue to move.
They sure do, and, obviously that was only a second down, but, they're 6 of 11 on third down, too, so still better than 50% on third down conversions. That was their 14th first down, as you said, Cam, and Arizona with 11. The Charleston defense only allowed 11 first downs all game to Lexington last week, so it's been a great job by both offenses in this one.
You mentioned Tigga Clay earlier getting his 400th career tackle. Brandon Ewing is just about 10 away from his 500th tackle. Leo Morris 7 away from his 400th tackle, so this defense has a lot of accolades coming their way. Kopech dropping a throw on second down and 11. He rolls out of the pocket and will manage to pick up 3. And sometimes that's all you want out of your quarterback on 2nd and 10.
I was just going to say that, Cam. It's like only a 3-yard completion, but that is a spectacular 3-yard completion because he was about a second away from being sacked.
Another third down for Charleston. 6 of 11 tonight. They were better in the first quarter than they've been since. 4 of 8 after starting 2 of 3. 3rd and 7 for Kopech. He is sacked by Hunter Norwood, who picks up sack 160 on his career.
Sure does. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason, Cam. And he's second most sacks in the SFL. He's got quite a ways to go before he catches up to Alex Dominguez, who's got 240. But to be number 2 is sometimes good enough. 160 sacks on his career, and that one shuts down a drive just like so many of Hunter Norwood's sacks have been throughout his career.
I think Alex Norwood got all 240 of those sacks in season 11. I think
I think, yeah.
I do not understand. Some of the records, like in our history, Dags, they are unexplainable. Like, how was Dominguez so good that season? And then in season 12 and all the other subsequent seasons in Alaska and Florida, he was just never able to replicate it. It was crazy how good he was that season.
Yep, some players just have phenomenal breakout seasons every once in a while, and then they kind of go quietly into the night like, all right, I got my records. I'm good now.
First down and 10 for Arizona. Charleston's defense needs a big drive, trying to keep this game competitive as Brad Jones will pick up 6 yards. $10 super chat from Damon Simeon. Happy anniversary to Fox Highwind and his lovely wife, Amanda. SFL Nation wishes you guys the best. So, for some reason, my heart just said to give Fox Highwind some love, and it turns out it's his anniversary today. That's a great job, Damon.
Damon's good people. Spending $10 just to get that shout out on the air.
DJ Moses picking up 2. I think that's his first carry since the touchdown. 287 yards for Arizona. This feels like a critical moment for Charleston here tonight. 3rd and 2.
It is. Like I said, they held Lexington to 2 of 11 on 3rd down last week. They're not quite getting there tonight, but they've got a big opportunity to get Arizona off the field on this 3rd and 2.
10 players in the box for Charleston. And Brad Jones is cut down right on the line of scrimmage. Khalil Thomas as Charleston sold out for the run there, and it pays off.
Sure does. And, I would have done the same thing if I was them. You have a guy like Brad Jones that's averaging over 4 yards per carry on the season. He just gains all sorts of yards. You almost had to know that ball was going to him, and even with them selling out, he had a good shot at they're going to give him some bonus yards there. He had a good shot at getting the first down, but kudos to the Charleston defense getting that stop.
DJ Moses playing special teams and gets called for a personal foul face mask. I'm not sure that DJ Moses is the best tackler on the team. That was a little surprising to see, and it was also surprising to see whatever the heck that blocker was doing there for Charleston. Outran the very short punt.
Sure did. In fairness, I think that DJ Moses had one heck of a tackle there, which is not legal.
Yeah.
but the tackle was made.
Illegal, but made.
Yeah.
That's why he's on the man in motion from left to right. The handoff goes to Montana. Montana picks up 4. He's up to 84 yards on 13 carries. Not too shabby against his former team.
Not too shabby indeed. It helps, he had a 36-yarder earlier on tonight to get a good chunk of those 84 yards. Found the end zone as well. He's keeping his team in it, but down 2 scores, 3rd quarter waning. Got to get going.
125 all-purpose yards for Montana if you include his 41 receiving yards. Wiseman, I think that's going to go down as another TFL, 3rd and 7.
Big 3rd down coming up. They just got a 3rd down stop on Arizona. Let's see if they're able to keep this drive going well outside field goal range right now, especially for Cameron Duty, who's had a rough night.
Can't afford to kick a 53-yard field goal here. They got to get closer. Kopech dropping a throw. Kopech scrambling and hit from behind. What you couldn't do, take a sack. D.D. Sachs in his 14th SFL season makes the stop.
14th season, 3rd sack on the season, 93 on his career. He's top 10 all-time, Cam. It was only a matter of time before he got back there and put a drive to a halt, just like Hunter Norwood did on the previous possession. And if they weren't already out of field goal range, they certainly are now.
D.D. Sachs just tied Rhett Sawyer for 9th all-time in the SFL at 93 sacks. And I don't think if you were to ask SFL Nation who the top 10 sackers are all-time, I don't think most people would get D.D. Sachs. He's a one-time All-Star from season 17, playing in his 14th season, 12th with Arizona, but he has put together a quite impressive career.
Yeah, you have players like that sometimes that are, they're top in a category, they're huge for their team, but, not a household name around the league. But, D.D. Sachs is a name that's well known in the Arizona locker room. The amount of production that he's brought to this squad can't go unnoticed there.
Arizona up 21-10. That was a pickup of a yard. Jackson is 16 of 26. This game is teetering for the Predators. A lot of pressure being put on this defense, but fortunately for the Predators defense, they've been given pretty decent field position to work with since the offense has made some moves. Tita Queen with another contested catch. She is on fire. 142 yards on 7 grabs tonight.
Doing fantastic. But now 3rd down and 1. We saw Brad Jones get stuffed. The last time we had a 3rd down and short, it was the 3rd and 2. Can Charleston do it again? This time only 4 on the line.
Toss. Jones got a nice block from Will Todd, and Brad Jones gets the first down.
Grant Hardaway, nice open field tackle to prevent any additional yardage from being gained, but it's all, it still moves the sticks. So fresh set of downs to start quarter number 4.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter of play. Arizona extends their lead in the 3rd from 14-10 at the half to 21-10 heading into the 4th. You're watching the Monday Night Spectacular Season 25, Week 10 edition right here on the Virtual Football Network. Along with Mike Daggs, I'm Cameron Irvine, Rochelle Colston, Ron Haynes. UFL Conference semifinals coming up tomorrow and Wednesday, and then it's another 4-pack of SFL games on Friday. Arizona, Sin City, Chicago, Charleston, Carolina, Mexico City, and Albuquerque, Detroit. Albuquerque, Detroit should be spicy in the late night window here on VFN, as that throw to DeQueen was, it was a rocket going somewhere. Loss of 2.
It was a throw. I was half expecting to see a Charleston defender there getting ready to jump that route again like we saw earlier by both of these defenses, but that could have been disastrous. Only cost them 2 yards, though.
2nd and 12. Jackson dropping a throw, and Jackson will look for Tita Queen in double coverage. Honestly, can't blame her. She's been catching a lot tonight. Might as well try.
You may as well. I mean, she's got 8 catches, 140 yards, has a touchdown, 55-yarder. I mean, if she's able to break past the defender, she's gone. But Jackson still 3 interceptions, still showing no fear. I'm sure Eddie Gage's heart rate is probably showing a little bit of concern.
3rd and 12, 4 of 6 on 3rd down so far tonight, as Jackson's pass is caught by DeQueen, spinning away from a defender and getting down to the Charleston 41. The 3rd down efficiency of Arizona continues to impress, and they stay on the field.
Yeah, absolutely, Cam. For Lexington to have gone 2 of 11 on 3rd down, and Arizona better than 50% on 3rd down now, 4 of 7. Like you said on that last throw before, Ashley Jackson targeting T. DeQueen, and why not at least try it? Well, there you go. That's why you want to try it. Was able to get the catch and get some good yards after the catch on top of it.
Deep ball, TJ Punk down to the Charleston 23, and now the Scorpions are rolling. 1st down with under 9 to go.
They sure are. You saw them starting to roll. The halftime adjustments come into play. They started to go on a roll when they got their first possession of the second half after forcing Charleston to a 3 and out. Got right down into the end zone, scored, and they're doing it in big chunk plays. Once again, TJ Punk that time wasn't even contested as Jackson passes 300 yards on the day.
Tita Queen has been a part of the 4K23 era from the beginning. She has played in a multitude of games, and 3 different times in her career, her game high for receiving yards was 136. Exactly the same. That is her career high 3 different times. She has crushed her career high tonight, now up to 170.
Yeah, congratulations to the Queen for getting a new career high and, getting it done in a way that looks like it might help lead her team to a win. As we see a rare Moses sighting.
Moses' 3rd carry. He has a very auspicious stat line. 3 carries, 5 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, not heavily involved in this one, but, other than, tackling people by their face mask. But 3rd and 1, see what happens here.
Handoff to Jones, breaking off a tackle, hurdling a defender and getting down to the 4. Gut check time for Charleston.
Sure is, Cam, as Jones approaches the 9,000-yard mark on his career. He's about 10 yards away from that now. almost punched that one into the end zone, which could have even potentially given him just enough to get past that 9,000-yard mark. But if Charleston can't get a stop or get, their fourth turnover of the night here, it could be over for them.
First down and goal at the 2. Holding to a field goal keeps it a 2-score game. 7:15 to go. Jackson, Highwind wide open, and I think she just got too excited.
She did. That happened earlier on in the game, too. We saw her target Highwind when they were heading the other direction, and it was when Highwind was lined up against Roman Pfeiffer, that linebacker, threw it a little too quick. Did so again there.
Second and goal, 7:13 to go in the fourth. Jackson sends Highwind in motion. Highwind's got 5 for 84. Todd's in the backfield. They're going to hand it off to Brad Jones, who muscles his way into the end zone, and Will Todd goes and gets a hot dog. He didn't have to block anybody. Arizona takes a 3-score lead.
Well, I'm glad to see that Will Todd gets taken care of one way or another. If he can't get a catch and he can't get a rush, he may as well get a hot dog. But touchdown for the Scorpions, Brad Jones. That could have been the final nail in the coffin, Cam. We'll have to see what Kopak and company can do when they come back out onto the field. But I fear that for Charleston, their offense isn't one that's built to come back from behind, especially not an 18-point deficit that they're looking at now. 3-score ball game might be a little bit too big a hill to climb here with just a little over 7 minutes to go in the game. But we saw earlier Jackson's stat line. She passed 300 yards on the day, and if you look back at her game logs to look when the last time she had a game where she threw for over 300 yards, you've got to go all the way back to March 11th of 2024 when they played against the Alamo City Artillery, when she had 300 yards exactly. And if you keep on scrolling, you don't see any other 300-yard games in there. This isn't something that she does a whole heck of a lot, but did it tonight, even with the 3 interceptions. That's still one heck of a performance. 2 passing touchdowns, 313 yards, and has her team out in front by quite a lot.
Charleston has played a very aggressive form of defense tonight, and Jackson has managed to take it, just take things over. This will be the 3rd time this season that Arizona and Eddie Gage, off of a loss, pick up a win. In the last 2 seasons, Gage and company are 7-2 coming off a loss. So Arizona takes these losses hard, and they find a way to rebound most of the time after losses. That's pretty impressive.
It is. What they need to do, though, is then find consistency in those wins. They started off the season with 2 wins. They beat Mexico City on the road, and then they beat Lexington on the road, but then they lost their home opener. After that, they beat Los Angeles, but then they went to Houston. They lost that game. So what did they do? Like you said, they rebounded off the loss. They beat Bossier City. Then they went into Albuquerque. They lost that one by 3. Here they go. They've now beaten, well, it's not over yet, but it looks like they will beat Charleston and get themselves up to 5-3. But tough one for them next week, Cam. They head off to Sin City. They might be 3-3, but they look pretty good. And a division rival. Those games are always played tougher. Can they consistently win back-to-back games?
And I believe that is your game on Friday, is it not? Sin City,
it sure is.
Arizona. Yep, should be a great one out west. And Arizona's they got a tough road. Both these teams have 2 byes left on their schedule, but at Sin City, at Washington, in back-to-back weeks for the Scorpions, and then at least they'll have their last 2 at home. But Pittsburgh and Queen City, the last 2, it's there's no slouch of a schedule. Nick Hoagland is now down, and things are going from bad to worse for Charleston. They had the momentum going into halftime. It was 14-10. They had the football. They just have not had it in the second half.
Yeah, it's kind of the polar opposite of what happened to, Lexington last week in the game Charleston versus Lexington, where Lexington seemed to have injury after injury after injury, ended up benefiting the Predators. And now in this one, things aren't really going their way. And then Hoagland going down, it's going to be tough. And let's look for a lot of Brad Jones here on this drive.
Dropping a throw. That is caught. TJ Punk to the 48-yard line. And Ashley Jackson, the Arizona Scorpions, continue to sling it. After the DC Dragons lost this past week, the Houston Headhunters are now the #1 team in the league. They get Oklahoma City in Houston next Saturday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern. You know, it's been a long time since Houston made a championship appearance. Season 6. DeMond's in the chat. Gave the $10 super chat earlier tonight. We give him his flowers too. Man, the Headhunters have been just rocking, and they've had a lot of time to cook up a nice scheme for Oklahoma City coming up this week.
They sure have, and they are a great team, and they've been a great team too. These past several seasons, they've had very competitive records. They've been right up there in the South Division, which is an insanely tough division to play in, and usually making it to the playoffs. Just can they get over the hump? Could this be their season? They sure look like it, Cam. They're playing amazing football.
2nd down and 10 with 5:25 to go. It's been 36 passes for Jackson, 15 runs. That is caught again. TJ Punk is racking it up. DeQueen with 9, Highland with 5, Punk with 5 now, and another first down for Arizona.
Well, Ashley Jackson with one of her biggest stat lines on her career. Why not just keep on going and see how high you can make it go? Not a lot of risk at this point, even with those 3 picks. You can keep on throwing if you want because you've got a 3-score lead, not a lot of clock left.
Jackson to Lily Nakai. Man, she's just spreading it around all over the field right now on this drive, giving everybody but T. DeQueen some love.
Yeah, I'd love to see Buchanan Simons get a target. He's 22 yards away from 10,000 on his career. No targets, no receptions tonight. Let's see if maybe he can get involved.
4:40 to go in the 4th. Charleston's schedule a little bit, of course, there's no easy games in the SFL, but a little bit lighter, at least coming down the stretch. They've got Chicago, who's now 4-3. Then they host Carolina at Fort Worth, who's struggling just a little bit, although played very well against Vancouver in their recent loss. And then Lexington to finish things off, and we know that they know how to beat Lexington. So Charleston's still alive, especially in that East Division, Mike, where they only trail by half a game.
They do, and to your point, there is no easy game, but there are stats, and statistically speaking, their remaining strength of schedule is the 2nd easiest in the league, just based off of the win percentage of their opponents. But that being said, who's got the easiest schedule, you might ask? Thanks for asking. It's the Florida Storm, who's out in front of them in the division now with their 3-4 record.
That's tough. That's tough. Charleston and Florida already playing earlier this season, and a 13-10 win for Florida that looms large over the Predators' season right now. 3rd down and 3. You can see the clock kind of ticking away. Arizona in this second half has played keep away. Their drives, 5 plays and a touchdown. They did have 1 3-and-out, but then 12 plays and a touchdown, and this is the 7th play of this drive. With 3:10 to go in the 4th quarter, the handoff to Jones will get the first down.
It sure will. And, Eddie Gage in the chat accusing me of throwing shade our way whenever possible. He says, well, how about this for some credit as we're going to get
call him a pretender? Or, a contender this past week?
I did. I literally called him a contender on the show. He says I disappoint him all the time. Yeah, he moved on real quick. And after I just got done saying how great Jackson was doing today, he's like, you're throwing shade. Okay, Eddie. Well,
what's the opposite of an elephant? That's what it is.
But the Scorpions here in the second half have they've looked like a different team than they did even in the first half. Oh, I think Jones was short, but doing phenomenal at playing keep away from Charleston.
In the second half, Arizona has outgained Charleston 198, check that, 200 to 23, which is just tough for Charleston. I think that Rob Ems is going to get an opportunity at a field goal here to make it 31-10 from 32 yards out.
He should, yeah, and he will get the 32-yard attempt. I'm not even going to look to see how he is on the season. I'm just going to sit here and watch this kick and see what happens.
Oh, he swings to the left, and he missed it.
I didn't say a thing. I
no
just wanted
good.
to watch.
Mike Dagg strikes again.
There will be no field goals while I'm playing analyst. Not one. Unbelievable.
No, actually,
Strong
I think that was my
crosswind
fault because I was looking up how many field goals he's made in his career and getting ready to say 271, but will not get the opportunity.
Not yet. Not yet. And apparently I'm not allowed to call another Arizona game. Well, surprise, Eddie. Guess who's calling your game on Friday?
Pass from, Kopech is incomplete. And Rain Rie fired up about that. Arizona shaking off another loss this season, 5-3. They're trailing Vancouver in the division, who's now at 6-1. They already played this season. Another one of those losses that looms large, 31-24. Vancouver able to sneak it out. And even the teams at the very top of the standings, Mike, as Kopech drops the throw on 2nd and 10 and completes that to Nick Twice. Even the teams at the top of the ticket, Vancouver and Houston, they're getting tested. And DC in the 3rd spot has lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, they have. And, I'm interested to see how DC rebounds because, after starting out 6-0, everybody was looking at them saying, wow, maybe this is their season. But, no undefeated teams and no winless teams right now. So, nobody's looking completely indestructible. I mean, Vancouver, they took it to Mexico City, and then the next week they won, but barely. So, there's a lot that might happen. But, yeah, getting back to those Week 3 games, you talked about the Week 3 game for Arizona where they lost to Vancouver. Charleston, I think you mentioned this one earlier too, lost to Florida in Week 3. So both of these teams lost in Week 3 to the team that's now ahead of them in their division. And with that tiebreaker, now they've got to not only get caught back up to them, but get past them. So this is going to be a huge win for Arizona to get them to 5-3. If they were fall to 4-4 on the season with Vancouver being out in front of them 6-1, very slim margin of possibility to be able to catch back up and then get ahead of them in the standings. But at 5-3, certainly still possible. For Charleston, they just can be thankful that the East is looking pretty rough right now, and they still have got a shot even with a loss in this one.
Kopech dropping to throw. That pass is off the hands of the intended receiver. And, Charleston, I think they have a lot to keep their heads up about. I mean, this was not a terrible game plan from them. They're 3-5. They're only a half game back in the division. The season not going exactly, as they would have wanted, but I think this is still a good football team. They put up a very solid showing tonight. Just came up short and couldn't take advantage of some key moments.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how they play the game as well. Yeah. I mean, they run a nice balanced offense. They mix up the run, they mix up the pass. They don't try to do, well, that didn't certainly help. I'm just going to stop commenting as I just curse everything.
No, it's literally the reason why you're here. Row the third with the interception. Great play from Xavier.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's his 3rd interception on the season now. So let me double check and confirm. Yeah, that's his 3rd pick. So he joins Rain Rie now in the secondary with 3 interceptions apiece as Rie got his 3rd tonight, and Sean Moore, the inside linebacker, with 3. This defense, they weren't leading the team or the league in interceptions, but now with tonight's performance getting a couple, it looks like they might be catching back up.
Hand off to Jones as Arizona looks to play out the stretch. Charleston will call their timeouts after the 2-minute warning, as we would expect. Other games on Saturday we haven't talked about. Minnesota hosting Baltimore, LA at Pittsburgh, Bossier City at Fort Worth. That Bossier City-Fort Worth game feels like a monster game for both of those organizations who feel a little snake bit in season 25.
They sure do. Bossier City's played incredible football, but if you look at their record, you would think I'm crazy. I mean, they have 1 win and 6 losses now, and but they were in all of those games up until the one that they played this weekend got a little bit out of hand. But they're so much better than that 1-6 record. And Fort Worth, it's a team that went undefeated a few seasons ago now, but certainly one that also is playing a lot better than their record shows. Someone will get the win in that one.
And off to Jones, and it's 4th and 1. So, believe it or not, Rob Ems gets a chance at redemption here and has an opportunity to get his 271st made field goal, 3rd all time.
All right, well, we'll see if he's able to do it with the stiff wind in this stadium. But Brad Jones now unofficially with 59 yards. That puts him past 9,000 on his career, and that's fantastic for him. Oh, look, a field goal.
And finally, one of the kickers able to split the difference here tonight. And a 4-play, 8-yard drive, just enough to get in Rob Ems inside his range. And what a career for Rob Ems. He was a late scratch to the Baltimore convention due to work obligations, but I mean, 95% completion, 95% made field goals on his career, and in 12 seasons, he's one of the transformative kickers in SFL history.
He sure is, and another great pickup for this Arizona squad. Obviously, losing a player in their kicker that I think everybody knew throughout the league, but was able to fill the spot by getting Rob to come over from Albuquerque in the offseason and doing a good job for him and puts them up past 30 points tonight. Definitely a statement win for Arizona here on the Monday Night Spectacular. Minute 43 to go, but it looks like they'll be able to close this one out with a win.
Who would your game ball go to tonight, Mike?
It has to be Ashley Jackson, even with those 3 interceptions. I mean, she's done a great job at finding T. DeQueen, who, T. DeQueen, another obvious potential for the game ball, Cam. 9 receptions, 170 yards and a touchdown. But because Jackson's been able to get it not only to T, but to get it out to Fox, he's got 5 catches for 84 yards. TJ Punk, 5 catches, 64 yards. Lily Nakai even getting involved, with a few catches for about 28 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Listen, when you throw it as many times as she's had darn near 40 passes, you're going to throw some interceptions. But even with those 3 picks, she's got an 80 quarterback rating, 65% completion percentage, gets over 300 yards for only the first time in about a year and a half. Fantastic job by Jackson. As you see the total yards for both teams, 425 to 274, and most of those coming on the arm of Ashley Jackson.
It's the 14th straight win for Arizona when they score 31 points or more. All time in franchise history, they are 45-5 in such games, as Kopech will fire that into double coverage and get that over to Michael Knight with 1:25 left.
Xavier Rowe almost had another pick too, just barely missed it. And they're going right back down that way. Wow. Ernest McRae almost just had one.
Pass incomplete. Trivia question for you, Mike. When was the last time Arizona scored over 31 points and lost a game?
Probably not any time recent.
August
Are you looking for like a season or?
No, I was trying to give you the hardest question I possibly could think of.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, Tuesday?
August 13th, 2023 against the Seattle Nemesis.
Wow.
That, coincidentally, Mike, was also a Week 3 game.
Yeah, Week 3 is just not kind to Arizona.
Apparently not. They did win last season in Week 3, so buck in the trail.
Oh, there you go.
Kopech setting up a screen that he hasn't really been able to execute much of the night. Montana picks up half of what they need. 1:11 left as we play out the final stretches here in Arizona.
Yeah, and I hope that Charleston keeps using that screen going forward. I think that's got some big play potential on it. It had some nice success earlier on tonight. At this point, too little, too late. But it's a good play to run when you've got a guy like Yale Montana. Kopech's
pass is incomplete, and it'll be first down and 10 for Arizona. Getting up after making the play, Xavier Rowe III, who's had a very nice game tonight.
Sure has. Nice game, nice season. I mean, he's a player that's really making an impact on this defense. He's part of a really stacked secondary between, Rowe, you got Terrell Davis, Ernest McCray Sr., Everett Garrison, Rain Rie, Bernard Smith. I wish I could list off that many players on my defense that had a pick, let alone multiple interceptions. A couple of them with 3 now, most of them with at least 2. Ashley Jackson back out on the field, couple of kneel downs, and send this one into the history books.
I think the difference in tonight's game, Mike, was Doug Spelling led Charleston in receiving yards with 455. He's a top 20 receiver in the SFL, 16th on the leaderboards coming into the night. And tonight he had 1 catch on 8 targets for 14 yards. A lot of that was Arizona's secondary shutting him down, forcing Kopech to look elsewhere, and Charleston just did not have the juice.
They sure didn't. I mean, we saw one obvious drop from Spelling that was definitely on him, but those other 6 targets, that was the secondary that we were just talking about. They just had him on lockdown and would not let anything be successful when it was heading his direction. And that's definitely the difference in this one. I mean, kudos to the offense for getting 31 points up on the board, but how about the defense holding Charleston to only 10? That's going to give them the win.
$9.99 super chat coming from Arizona. Arizona, I love y'all. Game ball goes to hashtag the Red Sea. No sacks given. Your Majesty, 100-plus yards and a touchdown. That's T to Queen. That defense with the second half shutout. And that's a wrap from Phoenix, 31-10. The Scorpions, an impressive victory over the Charleston Predators. Take us home, Mike. Your final thoughts on tonight's game.
Yeah, a great job by Arizona in all phases of the game, offense and defense, getting it done. They rebounded off of another close loss to Albuquerque. Like we talked about, though, they've got a tough schedule coming up. They've got Sin City on the road. They do still have a couple of bye weeks left to prepare for their opponents, but it doesn't get easy along the way. Sin City, they've got the Washington Trident, both division rivals, the 4-2 Pittsburgh Riverhawks, who look phenomenal, before closing out here in Arizona, hosting Buffalo. It's going to be a tough rest of the season, but if any team's up for it, the Scorpions are that squad.
Final score, Arizona 31, Charleston 10. For Mike Daggs, Rochelle Colston, and Ron Haynes, I'm Cameron Irvine. Good night. We'll see you in Week 11 on Friday.